好，好，总统问题。
You know, the motto of Prager University is you give us 5 minutes and we'll give you a semester. Well, I took many semesters on the question of the Middle East conflict. I was at the Middle East Institute, in fact, at Columbia University. That's where I did my graduate work. Semester after semester discussing the Middle East conflict as if it were the most complex conflict in the world, when in fact it's probably the easiest conflict in the world to describe. It may be the hardest to solve, but it really is the easiest to describe. And really, in a nutshell, this is what it is. Israel would like to exist and recognizes the right of the Palestinians to have a state. The Palestinians, however, and many other Muslims and Arabs, do not recognize the right of a Jewish state of Israel to exist. Every poll among Palestinians shows that the majority of Palestinians want there to be no Jewish state of Israel, doesn't believe that it should exist or have any basis for being. And this has been true since 1948, when the British left and the UN established a division. Palestine will be cut in half, a Jewish half and an Arab half. The Jews accepted it, the Arabs didn't accept it, and what happened the moment it was announced? Arab armies, about 7 Arab armies, attacked the Jewish state in order to destroy it. To everybody's surprise, the little Jewish state survived, and that was pretty much it. And then it happened again in 1967 when the dictator of Egypt, Gamal Abdel Nasser, said we are now going to extinguish the Jewish state of Israel. And Jordan joined him and Syria joined him, but Israel attacked first, and so Israel survived. And that is how Israel, and only that way, came to occupy what was called the West Bank of Jordan, where many Palestinians live, because many Palestinians live in that part of Jordan. So the war was over in 67, and what did the Arabs do? The Arab states all went to Khartoum, Sudan, and announced no recognition, no peace, and no negotiations. The 3 famous no's. What was Israel supposed to do? Then Israel made an agreement to give the entire Sinai Peninsula, an area of land bigger than Israel, with oil, back to Egypt, because they said they would make peace with Israel. Israel gives territory back for peace, and it will always do that. But is there really a desire for peace on the part of Israel's enemies, which broadcast after broadcast on TV and radio in the Palestinian areas is about how Jews should be killed and how Allah wants Jews to be killed? That's the typical broadcast on Palestinian television. And so it's not hard to explain the Middle East dispute. One side wants the other dead. You know what the motto of Hamas is? The motto of Hamas is, we love death as much as the Jews love life. Now you tell me, how is Israel supposed to make peace when people believe what Hamas believes? Now here is one of the most important things nobody talks about. Everybody talks about a Palestinian state. Why didn't anybody talk about a Palestinian state while the Palestinians lived under Jordanian rule? Because the truth is, people started talking about a Palestinian state once the Palestinians were under Israeli rule, because it was always a way to destroy the Jewish state of Israel. And I say Jewish state because that's what it is. There are many, many Arab states, but there is only one Jewish state. It is about the size of New Jersey. In fact, Israel is the size of El Salvador. El Salvador. And yet, if a Martian came to the earth and they visited the United Nations, or they read the world's newspapers or watched world television, they would believe that the biggest problem on earth is a state the size of New Jersey and El Salvador, this state of Israel. This preoccupation with a little democratic, humane state is absolutely irrational. And here's another question to be asked. If Israel tomorrow put down its arms and said, we will fight no more, what would happen? If the Arab countries around Israel said, we will fight no more, we put down our arms, what would happen? In the first case, there would be an immediate destruction of the state of Israel, with mass murder of the Jews of Israel. In the second scenario I presented, where the Arabs put down their arms and said, we just want peace, there would be peace the next Wednesday. The fact is, as I said at the outset, it is a very simple problem to describe. One side wants the other dead. And if they didn't, there would be peace. And yet, please remember this. There has never been, never in the history of the world, a state in that area, in what is called geographically Palestine, that was not Jewish. Israel is the third autonomous Jewish state to exist in that area. There was never an autonomous Arab state. There was never an autonomous Muslim state. There was never an autonomous any other state. That's the issue. Why can't a little state the size of El Salvador that calls itself Israel be allowed to exist? That, in a nutshell, is the Middle East problem. I'm Dennis Prager.
好，你看他有一个学院哦，专门在讲这个，可见这很复杂。那我们试图把它讲清楚。那他也是恐怖主义的最原本的哦。回不去。临時的和平協議，這就是那個
今日廣東物理號爵士喺立法局宣布實施職務職界政策，新措施規定遣返所有內地嘅非法入境者，法例又禁止偷渡者揾工做，並且嚴厲處罰聘用冇身份證人士嘅僱主，又強制市民檢領身份證嘅手續。1998年10月23號，經過9日馬拉松式嘅艱苦談判，巴解主席阿拉法、以色列總理內塔尼亞胡同埋美國總統克林頓喺美國首都華盛頓簽署以巴臨時和平協議。呢份係一份以土地換取和平嘅協議。以色列承諾喺12個禮拜之內撤出約旦河西岸13.1%嘅土地，並且將目前以巴共管嘅14.2%嘅土地交還俾巴勒斯坦當局。巴勒斯坦就刪除佢憲章當中嘅反以色列條款，又拘捕恐怖分子，收繳非法武器，而以色列就同意唔再要求引渡呢啲恐怖分子。
好，以色列建国 F15。以色列建国1949，埃及、伊拉克、约旦、叙利亚以及黎巴嫩，你看，跟以色列宣战，以色列独立战争开始了。以色列独立战争，以色列跟阿拉伯国家在1967年再次紧绷，哇，继续打。叙利亚、约旦、埃及，等看埃及并驱逐加沙走廊联合维和部队。好，看一下这个。
Ground, Taco 1, taxi 4 fighting car, 2 Romeo, upper fighter ramp to 5 right. Taco 1, getting the ground runway 5 right, taxi via Kilo. Information Romeo is correct.
Shotgun in my hands, behind the gun.
Caution 1, again, follow runway 5 right, turn 350 at 6. Clear for takeoff. Change departure. Taco 1, clear for takeoff, runway 5, push forward.
I can't deny
All players, full time, come back, full time. Likewise, group, rock, 08630, 28,000, cap, hostile. Group, rock, 045, 25, 37,000, cap, hostile. Combat, cockpit. Likewise, south group, beam south. Cockpit group was at 10631, 28,000, group, reporting. Target established at push point 10,000. Likewise, north group stack 42,000, 36,000 hostile. Active factory medium, southern south group, 27,000. Cockwise, south group maneuver, southbound beam south. Foxy close, northern south group, 29,000. Cockwise, Fox 3 2 shift, north line, south group, 095, 44, 29,000. Crank south. South 3 maneuver, 28,000, turning hot. Cockwise, target there. Cock 4, target southbound south group. Fox 4, Fox 3, southbound south group. Cock 1 2, weapons 320. 3 and 4, reference west. Combat, cock continuing to push, weapons green. Combat 4 5. Cock 1, northbound south group, turning high. Got 2 quick one. Cock 1, kill 2 ship, bullseye, 104, 24, 31,000, FAQ, heading south. Cock 2, striking us north. Heads up, north group, turning hot, combat. Light squad, combat 4 5, Bravo. Cock 2, negative. 4 5, 0, 9, 1, 8 5, combat 4 5, north group, large, 36,000. Cock 1 and 2, reference south, Light squad, north group, targeting Cock 1. Cock 1, spike 0, cross. Light squad, spike range unable. Cock 1 and 2, pike right, flare. Cock 2, got it, you're 6 o'clock, slightly high, 1 mile. It's on you. Cock 1, splash, hostile, eagle. Kill bandit. Medic, heavy kill. 1 and 2, separate, 150. Cock 1, reference south. Cock is out.
好，慕尼黑惨案。那我们从这边开始看，这慕尼黑是那个奥林匹克啊，奥运运动会，然后去的一个恐怖攻击。因为那时候什么巴勒斯坦没办法，巴勒斯坦没办法参加，可是以色列却可以参加，然后报复性。上帝的愤怒行动。好，来我们看一下。 没字幕，那算了，不要看这个。
当晚，阿布达乌德率领8名巴勒斯坦恐怖组织成员来到了一个火车站酒吧。
I took from them the passports, the money, everything, and after I gave them the last orders in this operation, it was it, no ban. Then I took 3 or 4 taxis and take them with taxis to the Lungate village.
At midnight, he called me from Munich, and he says, Anki, I'm back into the Olympic Village. I'm going to sleep in my bed, almost for the first time there, you know. I said, and is everybody there? And he said, no, nobody is here. I heard that they went to the theater to see Fiddler on the Roof, and I'll wait for them to see them. So he's talking. He says, another 50 pfennig. We have to talk. So he says, I love you, I love you. I said, I love you too. And he said, I'm angry that I couldn't stay another day.
Ich bin an diesem Morgen mit meinen Kollegen gegen 4:15 Uhr zur Arbeit unterwegs und dann sehen wir auf einmal so ein Tumult von 8 bis 12 Sportlern, die in Sekundenschnelle mit Sporttaschen über den Zaun springen. Die haben sich gegenseitig geholfen und wir hatten dann Hallo gerufen und gegrüßt, weil wir angenommen hatten, es waren Spätheimkehrer, die eine über den Durst getrunken hatten. Und wir sahen dann, wie so ein älterer Herr sich dann vor dem Zaun wegbewegte und ist dann weggegangen.
After that, my role is finished. And I have to know later what had happened inside.
恐怖分子顺利闯入了以色列代表队居住的奥运村31号大楼。凌晨4点半左右，以色列裁判约瑟夫·古德菲瑞德听到1号公寓门口有响声。
ב-4:30 בבוקר, שומע צעקות חבר'ה ברחו, אני קופץ למיטה וראיתי טרוריסט במסכה ועם קלצ'ניקוב דוחף פנימה. והבנתי מה קורה. אני באתי לפתוח את החלום. במצב של לחץ, לפעמים זה לא הולך. אז תפסתי את הידית ומשכתי והוצאתי את מהסירים. המשכתי לרוץ, ובדרך פגשתי חייל גרמני. והסברתי לו שבכל שטרסה 31 היה התקפה של טרוריסט.
与此同时，摔跤教练莫舍温伯格因试图反抗遭到枪击，身负重伤的温伯格被迫带着恐怖分子进入了其他队员的房间。
ברגע שאני יצאתי מטר מהדלת ואני פתאום מזהה את המחבל, אני הייתי ממש אפאתי, קודם כל. הייתי אפאתי כזה, הייתי שרוי בהלם, ולרגע אני לא מאמין שאני עומד מולו. היה נדמה לי שכאילו זה חלום. למרות שאני ראיתי את המציאות.
萨巴利凭借着本能试图逃跑。
התחלתי לרוץ זיגזג בין עמודי ביטון, יורה 2-3 צרורות, לא פוגע בי ואני ממשיך עד הגדר האולימפית של הכפר האולימפי, ואני מזנק מעל הגדר.
温伯格在帮助萨巴利逃跑后重伤。 所有人被关进了1楼安德烈的房间。这时候，约西·罗马诺试图反抗，队友们眼睁睁地看着他被4颗子弹打死。
然后这是西德的奥林匹克。好。 后接下来1987年开始巴勒斯坦起义引爆战争加上它有一个组织啊，加上走廊有个组织叫这个哈马斯，那巴勒斯坦以这个投掷石块自制的火烧瓶很厉害还会自制燃烧瓶，还有现代的武器跟军警对抗，采用了游行罢工，抵制了美伊货物和平的方式，不与占领当局合作，然后就开始签署这个协议。1993年会签署一个协议，哈马斯组织。
中東和平嚟講係一個重要嘅日子。以色列總理拉賓同埋宿敵巴解領袖阿拉法喺美國白宮互相伸出和平之手，為以巴關係揭開新一頁。當日以色列外長佩雷斯同巴解執行委員會成員亞巴斯喺全球見證之下簽署以巴和平協議，實現巴勒斯坦人喺加沙地帶同埋西岸傑里科有限度自治。1947年今日，印度同埋巴基斯坦啱啱獨立1個月。由於宗教信仰唔同，呢兩個國家喺脫離英國獨立之後，唔能夠和洽相處。幾百萬個住喺巴基斯坦境內信奉印度教嘅人逃去印度，而住喺印度嘅伊斯蘭教徒就紛紛返去巴基斯坦。佢哋都擔心會成為兩國宗教戰爭嘅犧牲品。
Today in history, September 13th, the Oslo Agreement between Israel and Palestine was signed in 1993. Israeli Prime Minister Mr. Yitzhak Rabin and Palestinian leader Mr. Yasser Arafat signed the accord at a White House ceremony in the United States with the goal of bringing peace to their region. The accord, which was named after the meeting place of the preceding negotiations in Oslo, Norway, emphasized Palestinians and Israelis living in mutual understanding and harmony. May heaven bless Palestine and Israel to reach peaceful coexistence in the spirit of brotherly love.
然后在2000年，他们巴勒斯坦开始第2次暴动，叫阿萨克群众起义。然后2006年6月25日，8名巴勒斯坦潜入加沙走廊的人开始用火箭弹他也用火箭弹开始攻击了装甲车。阿克萨群众起义，阿克萨群众起义。
暂停常驻联合国观察员在联合国有关人权第9期特别理事会上要求国际团体积极干预，以停止加沙的冲突。按天顶新闻社透露，托马斯总主教说，缺乏国际团体的帮助，双方无法打破暴力的恶性循环。暂停代表敦请联合国履行他的职责，积极干预，停止血腥的事件，并提供人道的紧急援助，结束任何形式的冲突。总主教引用教宗的话，他表示将会谴责暴力行为，无论来自哪一方或任何形式。他确认要声明加沙的死伤者以及希特勒特、亚什克伦和其他以色列城市的人民，他们仍然不断受到恐怖炮弹的袭击。
好，以色列这个 这两个国家其实在同一块土地上，可是怎样？以色列不承认巴勒斯坦，巴勒斯坦怎样？不承认以色列，所以呢彼此打来打去，打来打去哈。那2008年，哈马斯是巴勒斯坦的一个组织啦哈，与以色列签署停火协议。那哈马斯向以色列境内开始这样火箭弹、迫击炮攻击，那以色列开始反击。好，加沙走廊开始用军事攻击。好，我们来看一下。
你要重复一遍你的问题吗？
你告诉我们 BBC 这次事件的关注点在哪里？
Yeah, we are trying, I mean, to cope with the situation. It's very difficult. The movements are.
我们认为现在这个形势很
air strikes are.
对以色列的空袭行动。
Every 20 minutes there is air strike and Israeli fighter jets are flying over Gaza day and night. We are try to focus on the humanitarian.
我们主要关注这个人道主义方面。
So many kind of problems, the shortage of medicine, food, and the hospitals are suffering from a lack of medicine. Most of the hospitals are running out almost of everything. We are trying to focus on the civilian casualties from both sides. We are getting reports that more than 66 civilians were killed during the attacks and more than 200 wounded. Also, there was civilian casualties.
200多人受伤。
So we are trying to report facts.
我们主要是这个报道地面上发生的事实。
I know you have been in Gaza for quite some time, and you and other people around you. One bigger question that is, in your observation,
我的问题是在你看来
why the Israeli side
为什么以色列
timing
选择在这个时机进攻哈马斯？
It's going to be a general election, and then the American administration is in a transition period.
美国政府就处在过渡阶段，以色列要举行大选，在这个时机选择这个进攻，你是怎么看的？
Trying to find the right time for doing this.
我想以色列是在选择一个最佳时机。
There is no American administration, as you said. There is
正如你说的，现在美国政府处在过渡阶段。
Barak, who is looking for the chair, and Israel is trying to again support Israel. And yeah, some Israeli newspaper today said that the popularity for Labour Party is getting up and down the operation in Gaza.
因为这个进攻而升高。
We should not exclude the collapsing of the ceasefire. There was a 6-month-old ceasefire between Hamas and Israel.
双方的这个停火协议已经过期。
To renew the ceasefire, and no one was intervening. Hamas was waiting the Arabs to intervene, especially Egypt.
埃及以及阿拉伯国家都在从中斡旋，试图让双方重续和平协议、停火协议。
Like opening the crossing, there was too many restrictions, too many closures. Most of the commercial crossings are closed. Power cuts, all kinds of things are affecting the renewing the ceasefire. So since
现在各种各样的复杂因素都在阻止这个和平协议的停火协议的续签。
the attacks are coming, and now they are more worried about the use of Israeli bringing tanks and.
人们更担心的是以色列在这个陆军正调动坦克和地面部队。
So you mean the ground invasion? Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Aluf.
非常感谢阿鲁。
Okay. Talk with you, and I.
很高兴和你连线。
好，以巴冲突很恐怖哦。好，2012年开始打，那哈马斯也发射200枚火箭弹，开始 开始始末。好，哈马斯是一个以伊斯兰抵抗运动组织的简称哦，成立于1987年，主要标志是将以色列这样从地图上消失。这厉害哦！他们居然主张是这个。好，并现以色列跟约旦河西岸加沙走廊建立伊斯兰神权国家。好，哈马斯不惜诉诸武力。好了，我们来看一下。
以色列巴勒斯坦冲突升高，1.6万以军逼近加萨。昨天凌晨，以色列空军在45分钟内向巴勒斯坦加萨市投掷85枚飞弹，让以巴关系再度紧张。这波攻击造成21名巴勒斯坦人丧生，死者包括6名孩童及1名孕妇。其中1枚飞弹将哈马斯部分建筑炸成瓦砾，另1枚飞弹则击中1名哈马斯高阶指挥官名下的房子。以色列与巴勒斯坦控制加萨走廊的哈马斯组之间的冲突本周三急剧升高。哈马斯对以色列的火箭炮攻击炸死3名平民。以色列昨天除了投掷飞弹外，也调动军队移往加萨边界。发言人表示，以色列军队正准备扩大行动，地面攻击可能一触即发。埃及已经召回驻以色列大使以示抗议。欧盟外交与安全政策高级代表也对以巴冲突升高表示严重关切。争取在明年1月大选中连任的以国总理纳塔雅胡警告，对加萨的攻击行动会显著扩大。但以色列若当针对加萨发动地面攻击，双方都将付出极大的代价。东新闻综合报道。
好，刚刚人权到了，对，34页啊。我们来看一下，差不多了哈。好，停止。